And let's go to the topic of today. So today we have project creation and project writing. We have the most common mistakes people do in this context, and we have AI and how AI can help us or how we can struggle because of the fact that there are all these robots working with us. If you need clarifications related to the first day or the second day, then you can write it in the chat so that we can go back to it later. So either you write it now and I can take a look at it. But since I've asked before, so if there are no questions or there are no need for clarifications related to the field of adult education, which was the first day of our webinars, so key action 1 projects in the field of adult education and short mobilities, or related to the sector of youth, which was the second day within Key Action 1 projects. So we discussed youth exchanges, we discussed youth participation activities, and we discussed mobility projects for youth workers. And if there are no questions related to these, we will explore today in this third session, project creation, project writing, and these mistakes. So let's go to the topic today of the most common mistakes on project writing and project creation. And I have divided this category into 6 elements, and they are related to project creation, and they are also related to project writing. So the first one is project creation and the preparation time. And I even wrote it here. You think you have time? Let me tell you, and this is a friendly advice. You don't. So you always think that the deadline is in October, so I have a lot of time. If you have a lot of experience writing projects, maybe that's true. If you already have your partners, maybe that's true. Maybe. But it's still risky. So what happens most of the times what I see people doing when they come and they ask us for support in project writing, what I see is that they come to us when there is no time to do much. So sometimes and remember, the deadline is in October, in the 1st of October. So it's the first days of October. What means that sometimes it depends of what kind of projects you want to write, but it's going to be in the beginning of October, the ones which have a deadline for submitting projects in October. So that means that you don't have October, and that means that few days before the deadline, I recommend you to submit your projects already, because sometimes the platform crashes because there's a lot of people working. And then you may work towards a project, and in the last days you cannot submit it because the platform is simply not working. And then it's very frustrating. I have seen those frustrations in a lot of people's faces, that either you lose stuff that were there already, or sometimes you cannot submit your project. So if you think you have a lot of time ahead of you, I would tell you the sooner you start preparing your projects, the better. And this is really an advice that I give you with a lot of love, I would say, and really from the bottom of my heart, because I have seen a lot of people coming to me when I cannot help them anymore, because then I have a lot of other people who need also support in projects and who have booked already consultations before. And I also have seen people who don't have partners, and then they want to submit projects, but without partners we cannot do it, and then that also requires time. So the whole preparation means that you know what you want to do. It means that you look for your partners. It means that together you decide what you will do in a way that it makes sense for the two sides. So it's really something that takes time, because the project writing also, if you have never done it, you don't do it in 5 days, you don't do it in 3 days, unless you have experience with doing it, and then it can happen. But I wouldn't recommend that, really, because then you also don't have time to write your projects and read it carefully what is there. So that's the first thing. Prepare your projects in advance, so that if you need support from somebody, you have also the time to look for support, and the people who can support you, they also have the time to give it to you, right? So that's the first thing I see very often. Then we go to partnerships. And there are a lot of practices out there. There are a lot of different people doing different things. I will tell you how it works, and this is an honest way how I work when I support people writing projects, and also from the times when I was writing projects still. So you think that you're going to plan things and you know what things can be done, and you write it down, everything looks very beautiful in the paper, you submit your project, your partners don't know what they need to do. Your project gets approved, and believe me, I have seen a lot of different things happening when the project gets approved, because your partners don't know what they should be doing. Your partners have a budget to do something that for them it doesn't make sense. they signed the documents because they thought that, okay, we will see later. So if your partners are not involved, then you can have a lot of troubles. So you plan on behalf of your partners, then get ready to get into troubles. So the more you plan together with your partners, and the projects give you a lot of flexibility. So then your partners can also better tell you what they can do. So let's say you have a workshop, you have a project in which you're planning a training, and you decide that each partner is going to send 10 youth workers for your trainings. Then we start from the beginning that you don't know if your partners have people to send for your projects. And then we see a lot of last minute calls that people don't have participants because the partners, they don't even know what they should be doing. And then when they know, they realize that they cannot do it. And then maybe the time when you plan the training is not good. Maybe they are school year and then they cannot send the people to the training. So the more you agree with your partners, the better, because then you feel comfortable. And the way how these projects work is, if I apply for a project through my organization in Poland, and I have a partnership with 3 countries, so let's say there is Poland and then there is 3 more countries. So I apply for my national agency. So I have an agreement with my national agency and I tell them, yes, I'm able to do what was written in our application form because I have agreed that together with my partners. So on behalf of them, I'm applying for my projects. And the national agency says, okay, it's your issue. I'm going to sign the agreement with you. I'm going to give you the money. Then these 3 partners, there is Italy. Italy says we don't have people. Then there is Spain. Spain says we don't have people. Then there is Greece. Greece says we have 4 people out of 10. Then your problem is going to be between you and your national agency, because you're going to have to tell to your national agency that, sorry, but there is no people for our training. A training that you have declared that there was people who needed it, there was people who were willing to come. So also the national agency is not going to see your project and the way how you explain your projects in the future in a way that they can believe you. And this is not something that comes from the clouds, because I have been working close to evaluators who are evaluating projects, and not only in the place where I live and in the country where I live. So first of all, if you don't meet with your partners, you're creating problems for nobody else but for yourself. That's the first thing I can tell you. And then you can have troubles with your partners and with your national agency and at internal level, because then there is no money to do the things that you need to do, or you have the money but you have no people, so you're going to have to give the money back anyway, because that's how the program works. Okay, so meet with your partners, discuss the things with your partners. Sometimes it's just a matter, if it's a key action one, sometimes it's just a matter of asking straight questions. What do you think about this day or this day or this day? You see, I wanted to do networking with you during these meetings. I didn't come up and say, okay, we're going to have a networking which is going to last this time and it's going to be on the second day of the webinar. No, I came the first day, I asked you, do you want to have a networking event? You said yes. Then I asked you the last time, does the 5 minutes work? You said no, we would like to have it a little more. Then today I made it a little more. So that's how I know that if we are here together, we are deciding the things together based on what 2 sides need. And especially when there is money involved, believe me, there is a lot of things that can go wrong. So my suggestion is discuss, meet with your partners. And when I was coordinating projects, I was discussing everything with my partners. So how you organize it at internal level is just between you and your partners. But it can make all the difference between you and your national agency and you and what you need to organize, because you're the one in charge of organizing whatever needs to come. Yeah? If it's a training, if it's a seminar, if it's a youth exchange. So think about it. So this is in matter of partnership and creating your project. So preparing for the application form and for the submission of the application form, and creating the idea, the team, the topic, what you have written before, together with your partners. Okay. So then if your partners need to develop competencies or entrepreneurship, you're not going to create a project on AI. Then your partners will probably be interested in send their participants to people who are going to do trainings on entrepreneurship, right? Okay, so now related to project writing. So one of the things, and this is the experience I have by sitting with people and reviewing projects with them. You sometimes have projects ready and you come to us and you tell us, Mara, I have written my project. I just would like to go with you and see if it fits into the key action I'm doing, if it fits into the sector that I'm doing. And and I would like to have the feedback from you on what else can be improved. So these are the consultations within the work that we provide and the services that we provide. So the most common thing I see is that you write your projects and you assume that the things that you write are obvious. So that means that you write a project and you know what the project is about because in your head you have the whole project planned. So you know that there is a group of 10 people, you know that there is, okay, let me say again. So you know that there is a group of 20 people, you know that there is 5 people coming from each country, you know that it's going to be hosted in Poland because you're applying through Poland, and you know where the city that is going to be implemented. And then when you're writing the project, you assume that this is so obvious that everybody will know it. My suggestion is, if you think that things are obvious, they are not obvious for anybody else but you. So you're the only one who knows the best about your project. What means also that you're the best person who can explain what your project is, because nobody else can argue your project better than the people who has been creating this project. But then when you assume that the evaluators will understand what there is, then that's the first mistake. So let me give you an example. You write a project, you write a training course for 20 people. So you write a training course and you know that you're going to have a group of 20 participants who are going to come for a training. So you explain that shortly to the evaluator, and then the evaluator has a lot of questions because they don't know what is actually happening with these participants. They don't know how many participants you're planning from each country to come. They don't know, for instance, if there is the same number coming from the organizations. They know from the table when you're putting into the table. But then let's say if Portugal is sending 5 people and Italy is sending 7 people, because for instance Italy is sending 5 participants and they're sending people to support the training for some reason, then the evaluators are going to look at your project and they're going to say, how come here there is 7 people and he's 5 people? What is happening? So you need to explain the obvious, and that's the best suggestion I can give you. Even if you think it's obvious, you need to explain it again, and you need to explain everything in the application form. And I would say that you need to give the ABC of your project so that people understand A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the steps of your project, because they're obvious for you. The evaluators, they're not going to try to figure it out instead of you because they're not going to assume things from your project. They have a lot of projects to assess. They have a lot of different projects to assess also. Each project is different. Each organizations have different needs, have different understandings of organizing the project itself. So the evaluators, they don't have the time. That's one of the things. And they cannot really just try to figure out what is in your head. So think about it. Remember, if it's obvious only for you. You're the only one who knows, who you and the people who has been creating the project with you, you're the only ones who know the details of the project. Okay? And now we go to project stages and the implementation of the project. So let's say you have dedicated the time to create a project, to meet with your partners, to agree on what needs to be done. You have written your project, so the 3 parts that I have discussed before. So you have gone through all these 3 parts, you have written your project, you have submitted your project was approved. So everybody's happy, right? There are fireworks in the city, everybody is expecting a lot of things to happen. You have the agreement with your national agency, so you can run your project. And then we start preparing for the project. So there are different stages of a project. And the first thing I want you to know is that the stages, they were not created from nowhere and they are not there for no reason. So that you have the stage of preparing your project, submitting your project, and once your project is approved, you have the stages of preparing for the activity, implementing the activity, the follow-up of the activity, the evaluation, the dissemination, and the sustainability of the project. So there are different stages which are planned there because we're speaking about public money. We're speaking about people who have paid taxes and who are not in the training courses with you. And they also need to have access to what is happening, or at least have the chance to know that it happened. And you have the responsibility of creating quality projects, really. So when you start preparing your projects and you decide that, okay, we don't need to prepare the participants, we don't need to meet with the participants in advance, we don't need to explain them what's going to happen, we're just going to select people, they're going to come and they're going to be happy. Get ready, because I have worked with so many organizations and I would have so many funny stories to tell you about participants who just went for trainings And then the phone starts ringing from the national agencies. The emails start coming from the national agencies because the participants are not happy. The participants were not ready for that. The participants didn't know what was going to happen. So then they started complaining. Then they went to the national agencies. Then the national agencies came to you. So preparing your participants so that they know what the training is, what the training is not. They get prepared to maybe deliver something during the training. They have reflections before the activities happen. Normally the trainers, they prepare these things with you. So they are in the field and they know what needs to be done. But keep in mind that preparing your participants is a part that is important during the activity and after the activity. Because after the activity goes by and it finishes, the participants, they go back and they have the responsibility of sharing what they have learned with their communities. So with the people who would benefit from the training. So then when you have participants who go home and that's the end of the story, if you think that your national agency doesn't come and check and ask questions, it can happen. So it can happen that your national agency then is going to come and they're going to say, we don't see any follow-up of these activities. So what's happening after the training? And then you're going to be asked and you're going to be asked because that's the goal of the program in the first place. And you need to abide by the rules. So remember the stages of the project. They have been there and they were created because they do make sense. So still in the follow-up stage and actually also throughout the whole project. I have seen a lot of organizations which think that we do it all. So we can do everything and we can organize the training, we can contact the partners send us all the list of participants, we select the participants, we coordinate everything, we do manage the follow-up, we put everything online, we can do it all. It doesn't make really sense that you're doing all of it. So you're just gonna be overworked and you're gonna be burned out at some moment for no reason, really, because your partners can help you. That's one of the first things. And the second thing is there are also stakeholders who can help you a lot. And I think a lot of organizations, they forget the plus and the benefit that you can have from having stakeholders. So the stakeholders are people who are not directly involved in the project, but they can help you with the project. So for instance, when we are hosting trainings here, sometimes we have a partnership with an institution here in the place where I live. And throughout them, we can also have, for instance, better access to logistics and to the place where we implement the training. We have good relationships with the media. So then I don't have to go and call them 50 times so that they can promote the project. They know, and then I just tell them because they are the stakeholders in the projects that we create. And they know that, okay, there's another project, just tell us what it's about and we will try to help you promoting it so that other people knows about it also. So having stakeholders is a very good thing. And sometimes it also happens that there are stakeholders who are interested in being involved because for them it's promotion and you just don't take advantage of it. So people will be happy to help you as long as you promote them also, and then you win and they win because you don't lose anything because they give you something by being involved, and they get something because they get the promotion of being engaged in the team who is working with you, and then there is this European component which they also like very much because then it's not only here at local level, and they feel like, okay, we are also somewhere else, somewhere people knows about us. So the stakeholders, they can help you with a lot of things. We go often to different NGOs, for instance, so that we can do the follow-up of the activities, and then we reach out other target groups. So our participants who are in trainings, they go there, they deliver a short workshop, they talk about the project where they were. So this is dissemination. This is the follow-up of the project. So then we are considering the stages of the project. Then our stakeholders learn about how to implement such projects. Then we reach more people. So think about it because it's really something that can help you, and you can also explain it in your application form. We have these stakeholders, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you name it. They're going to help us in this way. And then the evaluators, they also understand that you have the resources to implement such projects. Okay? So the most common projects on project writing and project creation, we also have an article in our resource corner on our website, and where I also wrote about it. Now that it has been improved with the years, but you can also read there and you can also think how you can prepare these stages in a way that it's real. Because if you try to make a project in which you try to change everything, then the project is not real. So that is also actually one of the things that the national agencies, they normally say is that, let's say you want to implement a youth exchange and you get 10,000 euros to implement a youth exchange, or you are applying for 10,000 euros to implement a youth exchange. And in your application form, the youth exchange is on the topic of sustainable development and ecology, let's say. And in your application form, you describe that you're going to change the whole world with 3 partners involved and 10,000 euros. Then the evaluators are going to look at your project and they're going to say, there's people who are really, really rich and they have been trying to change the world for a very long time. And until today, they couldn't. So with 10,000 euros, with 3 partners, you can change the local communities, you can change a bit what's happening, you can raise awareness, you can develop an understanding and reduce a gap maybe at local level in 3 different countries. So this is a change, and this is a change that is very impactful and very important. But it's not like we're going to change the whole world. First of all, because there are just 3 countries involved in the youth exchange, and second of all, because there are just probably 3 cities or 3 villages involved, and maybe from these 3 villages we can go to different points. But we're not going to change the world with the youth exchange, yeah. So keep it real and keep things down to earth. So based on what you really can do, because that's what the evaluators see. The evaluators come and they say, is this possible or not? Yeah. Okay, so the most common mistakes on creating projects, developing partnerships, preparing your projects, and writing your projects. Let me just see if there are questions, or if there are questions related to that, I will try to answer to that. So project creation and project writing, and what is the relation between these and AI, so artificial intelligence. Then challenges naturally that we can understand from it, and then from challenges we will try to focus on what opportunities that are also from AI. And I would just try to focus on these challenges in a way that brings awareness to you. So it's not, I don't treat artificial intelligence as something that it's ugly. It's just something that we need to be aware, so that when we are aware, then we can work on how we can change it, basically, or how we can change the way we do things, because we know how the robots work. So there are some things that for sure AI is not going to do for us. So when we're creating projects, when we are writing projects, when we are developing an idea to implement projects and apply for funding, for sure AI doesn't know how our organizations work. So all this discussion that we had from the first day, the first session, so with whom do we work? What are the needs of the people with whom we work? If these are young people, if these are youth workers, if these are adults, who is these people and what are their needs? AI is not going to give us these answers. So these are answers which come from the experience that we have working in the field, which is actually something that then we put together with the partners, and then we understand what we want to do. So if you want to create a project in which you will explore the benefits of social interactions and how we can use technology to promote the social interactions online, for instance, we can use AI in this project, and we can use AI to promote the relations that there are between the 2 of us. But what is needed, it's us who know as humans, because we are the ones who work with each other, and we are the ones who know who is working with us also. So needs assessment is something that AI is not going to solve for us, and is not going to look for the answers for us, because the robots don't come working with us and with our youngsters. Yeah. So if we have problems with migrants who don't speak the language, if we have problems with young people who have problems with social inclusion, who are going through mental health issues, so understanding and defining this problem is something that comes out of the experience of our work with these people. So that's the first thing, the needs assessment. So it's something that we can pray for, but probably the robots are not going to be able to give us the answer that we need. Then there's another thing, which is within project creation. So the projects normally are grant based on something that is new. So the evaluators, they try to look for these projects, and they give you points for for the innovative side of your project. So if you're going to do something that has been overdone, that has been overdone everywhere, then your project is not innovative. So the ones which are, they're going to get much more points than you do. So this innovation is something that AI is also not going to give us. Because what AI does is AI looks for all the sources and all the database that there is online, and it gives us what already exists. So it tells you this project was already done, this project was done, this project was done, this project was done. And then based on all of this, we just stuck to the wall, and we don't have an innovative idea, because we have all the things that were already created and that are out there available. And that's what the AI does. It collects this information and it brings us to us. Yeah. So innovation and innovative ideas, and especially ideas, they come from us. They come from our mind once again. So it doesn't come from robots. So that's the second thing. The third thing is when you're writing projects, and this is something that I tell, if we're talking about project writing, I also discuss that with students at the university. So people who are working in writing, in putting intellectual property somewhere. So when you're writing something, so let's say you're writing something and then you go and you check with AI if this idea is, if the idea is good and if the idea is innovative. From the moment that you put your idea into the robot system, your idea is already out there. So your idea is available online and the robots are going to process the data and are going to pass it to somebody else. So be aware of that when you put your full idea of your project with the robot, you're going to lose the innovative side of your project, for instance. So if you want to check if my project is innovative, you can use robots to see what there is already. From the moment that you come and you put your idea because you think it's innovative, if it is, it was. Because it was until you put it online, and then once it was online, it's spread and people has access to it, and then they can use it, and then there is no authorship really. So you can come and you can put pieces of it, so you can understand the guidelines of what you could do, and that's actually one of the opportunities. Just be aware, because I think a lot of people don't know this. Unless it's a closed platform in which it was developed by you basically, or by your team, and then the access is only between you. Otherwise, if you use open access to AI, then your ideas are going to be spread everywhere. They're going to be accessed by other people, and then somebody else can use your idea, and then your idea is not your idea anymore. Yeah. So think about it, because this is one of the challenges that we face, and that sometimes we're not very aware of it. Okay. And a robot is still just a robot. So AI is just a collection of information, and it's just information that is programmed to be given to us. And it's good because, robots never stop. They're always there for us. They're so nice and they're so comfy. You just go, you type, oh, I would like to know what the weather is today. And it tells you the weather is this. And then it tells you, would you also like to know what the weather is somewhere else? And then you say yes. And then the robot says, do you also want to know what is happening somewhere else? And then you say yes. And then it keeps giving you and giving you and giving you. So it's very nice to have it. But the thing is, we need to still verify this information. So you write your whatever you need from AI, you get this information from the robots and from the artificial intelligence. But anyway, you need to know the rules of the game. You need to know if it's a youth exchange that you want to write, what is a youth exchange, what rules there are for a youth exchange, so that if the robot gives you information which is not right, you can verify it yourself. So if you're counting only with artificial intelligence to think instead of you, most probably at some moment you can get into a place that AI is giving you a different, wrong answer, and you're just going to take it for granted. So, for instance, in a youth exchange, you have a minimum of 4 youngsters and 1 leader that needs to travel for the exchange between these 2 countries. If AI gives you a different answer and you don't know the rules, then AI is just taking you into a trap, really. So anyway, we need to check it out. We need to know what there is out there, so that we can also recheck the information that comes from AI. Okay. So this is in matter of challenges of what I have seen in the past years since we have started using AI. As I said, I don't think that AI is a bad thing. I don't think that artificial intelligence is a bad guy. I think that if we know how to use it, it can be a good help, and it can be a good source of accessing stuff for us, and it can make our life easier, really. Yeah. So now we have calendars, which are technological. Now we go and everybody can see, and you can book a time with me, and I have access to it immediately. So it helps me, and that's why it was created. But then anyway, I need to go. I need to check the date of the meeting, and I need to check if I'm really available, or if maybe something else happened and maybe I'm not available, or maybe something changed with you. So that's what I mean, that we need to verify what there is. Okay. So this is the tricks that AI can play with us. So now let's see what opportunities it can bring to us. Because as I said, we can use it, and it's a good thing that we use it, and it can make our life easier. So for instance, if you're not sure about what some concepts are, so you go, you read the rules of the program, you read the rules of the projects you want to apply for, and there are strange names. Sometimes it happens that there's strange terminology and you don't really know what that means. So then you can go, because that's information which is available online, you can collect this information and you can see what artificial intelligence tells you that is risk assessment or what is sustainability. So follow up, these words that maybe we're not sure what they are, and then we can get access to the information, and it's a way of us to understand better maybe. And you can, as I said, it's always next to us, so you can just ask, explain me in a different way, please tell me what this means because I don't understand, and it will keep producing information to you so that hopefully you'll be able to understand it at some moment. Yeah. Because it's a search engine for information. So not only for inspiration, but it's a search engine for information, and it brings it to you. But it's also a search engine for inspiration. So it doesn't give you the innovative ideas, but it can give you a lot of ideas of what there are. So you can go and you can ask AI for ideas of projects that were out there based on certain challenges. And then you come with your team, you collect together and you say, okay, so this is what has been done. And this is our problem. So our need assessment shows us that we need this and this and this. So based on this that was already created and based on our needs, what else can we do? And this is what comes out of you, out of your team and out of your ideas, that it's innovative, that it's different, and that you want to put in your project. So AI can give you the first base to help you to jump, and then you can jump with your team and you can create the ideas that make sense to you. Yeah, and that makes sense to your team. So if there are projects which have been created on ecology and sustainable development, you meet with your team and you say, okay, so there was a training already on understanding social development goals. There was a training already with some of our partners who have been organized ecology and methods to support ecological learning. And then you say, okay, but our people, they don't know about ecological learning, and we would like to bring it to them online because we have meetings with them online most of the times. And then based on what was already created, you can also create a project which combines what there is with what you need, for instance. So it's a search engine for inspiration and it's a search engine for information. And then you put it together and you can create something new. So it's a way to give you access to what was already created. And it can also help you sometimes if you're looking for information on some key aspects that the evaluators may be looking at. So again, I say don't write your project on artificial intelligence and ask it to check it, but you can take a part of your project and you can say, okay, tell me if this is along with the program guide rules and if this is along with the criteria of evaluation. And then it will show you these key aspects, for instance. Or you can get into the artificial intelligence sources and you can ask them, okay, this is the information that I have. This is also something that can be done. And I need to shorten these into 1,000 characters. And then AI can give you the shortcut of what you want to do. Keep in mind that also the evaluators probably have seen that when you put things into AI gives you already, there are words that we know that they come from AI. There are ways of formulating sentences that we know they come from the AI. So the evaluators, they will also know that. Also because there are platforms that check what part of the project is yours really, and then it will go across the information that there is already with the AI that you have put online and that it has been given to you. So anyway, we go back, you need to verify what there is, what is given to you. So it helps you shorten the information, and then you need to see how you can make this shortened information that it's yours and that it's not robot based created. Yeah. So AI is a robot or it's a set of robots that it's artificial and it's intelligence that helps us, but it doesn't replace our minds. It doesn't replace what we do. It can be used as a source of information. It can be used as a source of inspiration, but you always need to check and recheck what it's given to you. Okay? So remember that we have always the brain and the heart, and now we also have the artificial mind that we put together, but in the end, the projects need to be ours. That's basically what it means. Okay? Okay, good. So the question now is, do we want to be in the loop and we want to get stuck with stuff, or we want to do beautiful things and get support to do beautiful things? That's basically the question that there is. So if we want to be here, this is one of the participants we had in our trainings, by the way. if we want to, he was actually working with us on project writing and project management. So how do you want to move from here to there? So get the support and the things that you do. So if that makes sense to you. So if you want to get stuck in the loop, or if you want to go and implement your projects and get funds to do things that you love doing and that makes sense to you, right? So I just remind you again that we have our courses online. We have 3 courses in our platform on PayHip on EU Training Academy. So you can learn from the comfort of your couch. You can go step by step throughout what you need to do and how you need to implement these activities and through which key action projects, throughout which target groups, all this information that we have been discussed. So what we do is we help you to get from the first place to the second place throughout this route, so that you know, and you can also reflect with your teams based on what you want to do and what makes sense to you. And we have the 3 courses on European projects, on the structure of the program Erasmus Plus, and on Key Action 1 projects, so the mobility of individuals. And Key Action 2 projects are going to come up. So Key Action 2 projects are projects which start from a budget of 30,000 euros. Key Action 1 projects, they have less budget, but still they have 15, 20,000 euros. You're organizing an activity. So actually, when you invest in the courses to learn about it, to learn about it is an investment in which you're going to get your money back pretty easy when you start getting involved in projects, because I have been involved in projects for 10 years. We have people who have been creating organizations, running their projects, creating entrepreneurship ideas afterwards. So we actually have learned about circular economy by implementing circular economy. All of us, yeah. So as I said, we try to put it out there. We try to put it out there in a price that it's really something that you can afford. So instead of getting a coffee on Starbucks, or if you get a few friends, I'm sure you can afford the courses, you can learn, and then you can learn on how to organize these courses and these trainings, if not courses, so trainings, youth exchanges, any kind of projects you'd like to implement in a way that it's easier for you to write the projects also and to understand how it works, basically. Yeah. So we put the information out there. We put the information out there for you so that you can take advantage of it. And it's very much up to you to do so or not. And as I said, you can also listen to our podcast. You can also join one of live courses or physical courses. We can come and we can deliver courses for you. Or you can come to Poland and we can host you here. I'll be very happy to have you here. And you can book consultations with us on project writing, or on your application forms, or consultations on understanding if your idea makes sense, where do you apply for this idea, if maybe you need to improve it. So there are things which are very much related only to your needs. And there are a lot of other things that we can do in group courses, and then that's individual calls that you can register and you can enroll, and then you just get the general information really.